What's up, welcome back to Nowstalgia. Dave here with your review of Fakemink's debut album, Terrified. Fakemink, of course, one of, if not the preeminent new figures in the underground UK hip-hop scene. He has made quite the name for himself in very little time, really blowing up over the last 2 years. Fakemink, alongside SD Kid, have really pushed this new wave of UK rap to the forefront. And they have some other peers as well. Finesse Kid, Lancey Foe, etc. But SD Kid, Fakemink, they've really been pushing this wave, and they've been finding a lot of success. You look at the monthly listeners for both of those guys on Spotify, they are crossing over into more mainstream rap attention in a way I really never expected when you consider the type of music they make. And that's especially true of Fakemink, who I think is a lot less accessible than what SD Kid does. And there's been quite the lead up and rollout for this Fakemink album. I mean, he had to sit down with Zane Lowe, talk about being mainstream. There's, been a lot of kind of lore and storytelling about what exactly the persona of Fakemink will be on this album. He does remain a bit of an enigmatic figure, and that's not to say that it's all been positive. If you look at clips of Fakemink performing live, he is still very much a work in progress, to say the least. And Fakemink also, who remains an independent artist to this point, has put out a lot of music thus far, lots of loose singles and leaks and data dumps and various, formal EPs and mixtapes as well. In terms of the breakout music, you would point to Easter Pink as well as Louis V. Sandals, which is a collab with SD Kid, as the songs that really pushed him forward. But there's been a ton of music, and there was that kind of teaser prelude EP, The Boy Who Cried Terrified, earlier this year in January, but now we're here with the full length. Fakemink's debut full-length album, Terrified, continues the UK rapper's rapid ascension from the London underground to the edges of mainstream rap. Despite being an artist who has put out a ton of music to this point, this album and the rollout of it really feels like the culmination point of Fakemink's rapid rise in fame the last 2 years. Not only is Fakemink a new voice, but arguably a leader in the latest in rap's continuing genre evolution. This is very much in the cloud rap style, digicore influences, jerk drum patterns, sleaze pop, if you will. It is a specific flavor of music, probably more interesting to the Playboi Carti fan than traditional rap old head. And what's most curious to me listening to Terrified is that Mink clearly is not trying to nod necessarily to the biggest hits of his past, such as Music and Me, or Easter Pink, or Louis V. Sandals. No, this is much more of a specific sonic vision. I find a lot of it uninviting to the uninitiated when it comes to Mink. That being said, it's hard not to be impressed with the sheer audacity of the overwhelming production styles. However, your mileage may vary in terms of Fakemink's vocal performance. He's of course made his name for rapid pitching up and pitching down of his vocals. There's distortion all over the place. Whether you can connect with what these songs are trying to do or not will drastically change listener to listener, because some of these songs are just frankly harder to understand than others. Sometimes the production, even when the beats are pretty cool and unique, they'll often wash out Mink's vocals. There are moments where everything really comes together and you have this unique blend of this crazy production and out of nowhere vocal melodies, and you get true gems like Hard Candy and Night Blooming Jasmine. And while I don't think these songs go as hard as some of the earlier Mink bangers, it's clear that this is a guy who's not going to rest on his laurels and wants to continue to push things forward. And that is exciting when it comes to a new face of rap. He's clearly very unique in one hand, and also has a charm and charisma that's hard to pin down and really kind of sets him apart from a lot of his peers. I do think the album ultimately runs a bit long, and I found plenty of it not really worth revisiting. He's certainly worth continuing to pay attention to, obviously. We have 19 songs here at 55 minutes, and just kind of going through them here. That first song, Terrified, I really love those aggressive drums, that combination with the synthesizer. Interesting beat. All Eyes on Me, kind of classic pitched up vocals from Mink. These drums I think are really like over the top, and there's some guitar as well. Definitely a cool mix. I think the beat is interestingly thought of. The vocal melodies too from Mink, pretty quirky, pretty playful. It's a big sound overall, but I think this works. I would not be shocked if this is one of the highlights for many people from the album. Playlist, this one's a complete vibe shift though, more of the traditional synthy drums, bass heavy, if you think of a traditional Fakemink beat, it might be something like this, but I do think his auto-tune was pretty fun on this. Creep, I like the choice to use like these echoey vocals, definitely like a more cinematic, epic flair to how this song sounds. Like a Virgin, I thought the beat was pretty interesting. Jungle Affair, I like the gloominess of that spoken interlude at the beginning there. 52 Tashpel Pony Ave, what a name. Very messy distortion on that beat. Don't really understand the appeal, frankly. I think it's just got way too much going on. It's just too noisy, frankly. Hard Candy, though, as I mentioned, this is one I like a lot. I like the way that Mink's voice is pitched up even higher than it had been previously. Rewind, I thought was just okay. Very samey beat. Essex Girls, of course, Fakemink, originally from Essex, even if he made his name out of the London scene. More bass, strong kick drum, sounds cool enough. The vocals, though, they were just too quiet for me, and I think the song was only just kind of droned on a little bit too much. Night Blooming Jasmine, as I mentioned, this is a bop. This is the closest I think he gets to a hit in the, if you think of a Fakemink hit, I think you would think of a song like this. Tempo is great. I love the house drums that are present here. Very groovy bass overall. Big highlight for me. Wrong Relief, I also thought was pretty good. I think those darker, haunting drums really stand out. Fire and Ice, this one is quite the head scratcher. It's a 7-minute spoken interlude by these female vocals, and the beat's still pretty thick there, so it's not like you can fully grasp all the words either. I don't understand the appeal here. I don't know if the narrativization and the editorializing that Mink has put into this album and in the storytelling here of him grappling with his fame, I don't know if it really comes through, just because it's hard sometimes to see the through line with all the lyrical message, as some of it's even hard to grasp. Kiss of Death, though, I thought that one had really good energy. I liked the guitar in the second half there. Creed, definitely a different sound. I don't think it takes you higher, though. Ultimately, it's a bit of a mediocre track, even if I think the deeperness to the sound and the tone there did get my attention, at least initially. Tell me what you're missing. I mean, these vocals are just so washed out. There's simply too much going on here. I think that the mix is just all over the place. It's not good. Forget Me Not, a lot of clipping here, a lot of distortion once again. I think there's an enjoyable vocal melody here when Mink's voice comes through, but it's in fits and starts throughout parts of the song. And then at the end there, Our Word Angel and Etna, kind of whenever to me. I mean, Etna's in our spoken interlude, or outro rather. So yeah, I mean, I'm curious like where this will sit in terms of like hardcore Mink fans. Like, is there an Easter Pink on this? I don't even think there's something nearly as melodic as Music and Me, which I think actually had a lot of crossover appeal to it. And there's nothing as like overtly banger, like this is just a really hard track as like Louis V. Sandals or Black Jeep or something like that. So curious place. And, you know, given Mink's history to this point, again, we got a formal EP just a few months ago. We will be getting more Fakemink music in short order. That much is clear. But let me know, what'd you think of this album? If you're a big fan of Mink, what did you think? Let me know. And for more rap reviews, more hip hop reviews, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.